Jesus, and from death to life I will sing your praise. In the one, come on, you sing. When I see that cross, I see freedom. When I see that grave, I see Jesus, and from death to life I will sing your praise. In the wonder of your grace. When I see that cross, I see freedom. When I see that grave, I see Jesus, and from death to life I will sing.
Woo! Let's go, family. Happy Thursday. It's your boy Crazy Faith to God. Welcome to the channel. Nothing but value, where we feed your spirit and give you nothing but value, right? Let's dive straight into it, right? We don't got no time to waste. We're going to dive straight into it. So today's topic is going to be the big sacrifice, right? The big sacrifice. And ultimately, the sacrifice actually makes you stronger, right? So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that, right? So we can get a better perspective, right? So, through life, we have to sacrifice something, and we have to, in order in life, right, to receive anything, we have to sacrifice something of a lower nature to receive something of a higher nature, right? We always want to remember that. In order to receive something of a higher nature, we have to sacrifice something of the lower nature, right? And ultimately, that sacrifice, whatever it is, whatever God asks you to sacrifice, that sacrifice is actually going to make you stronger to do God's will, right? So if we didn't sacrifice for what it is that we want, we would pretty much be weak. We would be weak, and we would not tap into the strength that God needs us to tap into, right? I need you to hear this, right? If we don't sacrifice for what we want, right, the sacrifice actually makes us stronger in order to receive the blessing and to do His will. Without that sacrifice, you won't be able to stand for where He's taking you and what He's trying to do in your life, right? Because ultimately, you would be weak, because if you didn't sacrifice and you keep doing what you was doing, you would be average, you would be mundane, just like everybody else. But the sacrifice sets you apart. You see that? The sacrifice actually sets you apart, right? The sacrifice actually strengthens you and sets you apart, right? And we gotta be mindful. We gotta be okay with what God is trying to do, because we might not understand. The sacrifice might hurt. We might not understand, and we got to be able to tap into the understanding part, right? And being able to surrender, right? When we surrender, we get to see a little bit more of what God is trying to do. But if we just stay with our perspective, our understanding, right, we kind of get lost and stuck, right? Trying to figure everything else, trying to figure everything out. We kind of get stuck, right? And I was once that person, trying to figure everything out. And, not really taking, it was a point in time where I was kind of not taking the sacrifice seriously. So now it's just been more of awareness of what's going on, what we need to do in order to become more stronger, in order to become more worthy of the kingdom, in order to hit our goals, we must sacrifice, right? And that's a big one right there, because the moment we disrespect the sacrifice, bad things start to happen to us, right? We fall, we fumble, right? God has to bring us back up, right? And He's going to keep continuously doing this until you get it right. So you might as well just surrender and respect the sacrifice, because it will keep going on and on and on until you get it right, right? So, and when you sacrifice, you got to be intentional about it each and every single day, right? This is something that you got to respect each and every single day, so you can stay strong in what God is trying to do in your life. When you do that, when you do that, you begin to see what He's trying to do. But when you don't respect the sacrifice, you become weak. You become back to the old version that you used to be, and you can't really see what He's doing. When you sacrificing, God is cooking up. He's cooking up. He's doing something within you that you can't really see, But even in the pain, even in the aching, God is making something out of that. Even in the pain, even in the achings, whatever you're going through, God is cooking up, making something out of that. Right? But if we're not humbling ourselves, surrendering to the suffering, we will miss what he's trying to do, and we go back to the old mediocre version. Right? That's why a lot of people don't make it to the top. Right? Because they're not willing to sacrifice and obey God. You know, are you willing to sacrifice and obey God? Because it's not an easy walk, but with the strength and power through him, it could be done. And you will become stronger. And you will be able to get towards your dreams and goals. But you got to do it with him, right? You got to do it with him, right? So I want to leave you guys with this, right? If we don't understand the big sacrifice and understand the sacrifice is actually making us stronger for what we need to accomplish and do God's will, if we could understand that, we're able to flourish, we're able to blossom, we're able to bloom and go to bigger and new heights and new levels in our lives. But the moment we're not respecting the sacrifice, God can't take us from glory to glory, right? God can't do it because you're not respecting what he wished for you to sacrifice. Once you obey God and you don't listen to him, things will start happening so you can get your attention. And he's going to keep doing it over and over and over until you get it right. Right? He's a loving God, right? So shout out to God for that. And let's take a few minutes now to pray with you guys. And I ask that God could help you to be aware of the sacrifice, respect the sacrifice, and put your flesh underneath your feet when it comes to the sacrifice. Right? Whatever it is that we must sacrifice, Lord, let us sacrifice it with your boldness, your strength, and give all the glory to you, Lord. Thank you, God is done. And only with your strength and your might, we're able to get through and see what's on the other side. But that being said, it's your boy, Crazy Faith to God, on the way out. Nothing but love, right? Hope everybody have a blessed and amazing Thursday. Remember, you matter. Let's become 1% better each and every single day. Love on the way out. Let's grow. Let's go.